And good morning! We are in my cousin's house in London where we stayed last night. Feeling a bit pooped today, a little bit partied out, had a very good time. But feeling the effects. So we're going to go off to see Claudia's friends, dental friends.
Yeah, my dental university friends.
They're all grown up.
Yeah, we've all got kids. Well, not all of them, but majority of them. Yeah, it's up in Buckinghamshire because we've all like dispersed across the United Kingdom now.
They studied in London.
But yeah, it'd be nice. We're going to have like a Christmas dinner.
We all have to bring canapes and a dish, and we
are going to Waitrose.
Yes. We're gonna turn up and everyone's like, here's this beautiful thing that I spent 8 hours handcrafting, and we're like,
yeah, they're gonna do
Waitrose?
They're gonna do that thing where they show us up like, yeah, you know, I've juggled like having like a toddler and a newborn, and I've still made like 2 homemade dishes, and we also went out to a Christmas party last night as well. And we'll be like, well, what's that other excuse? She's disabled. That's mine.
I keep telling you it's okay to use that as an excuse more, because it is true. Having a disabled partner is like saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a child. I have a dependent. I have someone I have to look after."
You're like a really big, cumbersome child.
Wow, a really big. Okay.
Well, you were just saying use me as an excuse, and then when I do, you're like, oh. Yeah, last night's party was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice. It was it the third YouTube Christmas party we've been to now?
I think so, yeah. It was like, and every year they decorate it differently. Like this year was kind of like enchanted.
I liked this year so much better.
Magical woodland kind of theme, I guess. Yeah, it was nice.
This one was beautiful, especially since I'm quite strict on my Christmas colour schemes, and I'm very much against silver and blue because.
Was it silver and blue?
No, last year.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was silver and blue.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't see any photos from last year.
They've got this like little corridor bits in the space that every year they decorate differently. So like I think last year it was like balloons, wasn't it?
No, I think you Pride.
Okay.
So Pride they had like multicoloured balloons and you walk through them and it's like, oh, amazing.
I think one year for Christmas it was like loads of like cotton wool kind of stuff.
Yes.
And like glittery things.
Yes, it was.
But anyway, this year it was like in the nicest way possible. It was like strips of like fabric toilet roll.
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of those films when you're in some kind of asylum.
Oh gosh.
You know? And for some reason there are like torn curtains that you have to walk through.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit scary because you couldn't because it was they were hanging like only like this far apart at different lengths. So your eye like
once you've got past one, there's only this one in front of your face.
Your vision stops at the next thing, obviously. So you'd literally you'd be walking through and someone else would be walking through and be like, oh hello.
You just do not realise until they're hello in your face.
But we had a sneaky little kiss. It was quite romantic.
Oh.
It was like a little cute meet.
It was. Wait, did we meet cute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
my favourite was the reindeer.
Yeah, the big reindeer.
Which was like a side prop that no one paid any attention to.
Oh, I loved it. It was weird. I mean, it was next to the cloakroom.
It was.
I had no idea it was there until like about 10 minutes later. I was like, wow, did I miss that?
Just missed a massive white reindeer. It's fine.
I think I'm often like that when I go to events because there's lots of different people and people are saying hello and there's lots of stuff. I'm a bit like overstimulated. It takes me a while to kind of like settle in.
Yeah.
We work out that like I actually need to have at least a couple of alcoholic beverages to actually like take in my surrounding like things.
The extrovert and the introvert approach Christmas parties very differently. I think it's fair to say. I think when I'm nervous about something or anxious, I get louder and more chatty and more willing to go up to someone. Not more willing, but I just talk to everyone and get really involved, ask people questions, because I'm feeling a bit tense.
Yeah.
And your idea of feeling a bit tense is like, just gonna sit.
I just assume people haven't seen me. It's really weird, or I pretend that they haven't. So I do this really awkward thing where I walk into a room, I clock someone that I recognise.
She saw Rowan, a girl we know.
I basically look at them, we catch eye contact, and then I go, look, it's Rowan. I'm like, why the hell do I need to tell her? But then I realised when I got home, like people must think I'm being such a a bitch because like all they see is me walking into a room, staring at them, and then
with a blank face.
And then whispering something to you. And then you go over all nice, so they're like, they're probably a bit like, are they like, what is happening here? You two-faced? Oh. Am I just obviously like true to like, and I'm actually I'm just, all I've said is like,
really awkward.
oh look, there's someone that we know, we should go talk to them.
Go, Jessie, go.
Yeah.
Basically, you're sending me
to go make friends.
because you're too awkward to go over and say, hi, good to see you.
Yeah,
You're like,
right.
go for me,
I just,
go for me.
I
go
just
for
sat
me.
on a separate table eating a burger on my own whilst Jessica like edged in on a group of other people,
Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, it's fine. It's cool. I just wanted to eat my burger on my own. No biggie. Anyway,
Awesome.
what else was at the party? It had a swing. That was fun.
They did have a swing.
Yeah.
They did.
I mean, it didn't really swing. It was more just a photo prop, which again was really awkward for me because I was like, where do I stand? Where do I put my arms? Where do I look?
This is just the tale of Claudia's awkwardness, to be honest.
Yeah. And people are just like, just look natural, be yourself. I'm like, no, don't tell me that.
No, but you are being natural and yourself.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't think that we have to, that being yourself has to mean the exact same thing for everyone.
Yeah,
that it
that's
has
true.
to mean that, oh, you're so comfortable and cool and
Yeah,
relaxed.
actually that's true. People go, just be yourself. But if you're just like a naturally introverted, anxious person and your natural body position at a party like that would be like this, then that is being yourself, isn't it?
I know. Whenever I get my photo taken professionally, they always say, oh, you don't have to smile. Just be yourself. And I'm like, this is my face.
I know, you can't not smile.
This is what I do.
Right.
How am I meant to not do this?
When they tell you not to smile, you go. It's like weird. It's like
Yeah, my attempts to.
when we try and do like serious pictures of like we love each other so much. I just look like I need the toilet or something, and you just look like really confused. Yeah, and then you just break into a smile. Anyway.
Different people like different types of events.
Mm. Yes.
Would you say this was the type of event you like, Claudia?
I like that there's like lots of decorations, things to look at. So there were like
That's so true. YouTube parties, there's always stuff to do.
There was like different food stores that you can go to, and you can talk to the people who are like. I'm quite happy chatting to people who are like running an event because you can just talk about like the food or the drink options or like how good the decoration.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, and also they're probably being paid to actually talk to me. So talk to the guests. So I know that I know I'm guaranteed to have a conversation with them.
The funniest thing about YouTube though, and I was giving this talk the other day that you saw, there was a lady there who said, I just don't feel like I could ever do YouTube or be on YouTube because everyone seems so extroverted and out there and confident and like they can cope with the world, and I just don't feel like that. And my reply to her was that of all of the YouTubers I've met, and I've met some like really big YouTubers, very well-known people who are huge in their fields, I'd say, 70% of YouTubers are incredible introverts. Extreme, awkward human beings.
Yeah, that's why people like think, they'll make great like press release on their books. They can come and talk about it, or they'll make really good public speakers. And they can talk about that thing that they talk about on their channel because they're such an expert on it. And then people are quite like, they're not. They either decline the invitation.
Yeah.
Or, that's why you're like people love
People
love
are
working
always
with.
shocked that I can talk.
You're like a really natural, good public speaker.
I just love talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so there's the 70% of YouTubers who are introverts and love it because they get to sit at home and talk to a camera, edit by themselves, only converse with people over the internet. And then there are the 30% of us who are loud and would be doing loud media things anyway. I think that the important thing is not to concentrate on whether there is innate value in one more than the other. I think it's just being confident in whatever you are. It's the same with dating. Like, rather than trying to be someone else, if you're just very sure in who you are, you don't change that.
Well, when we came home
It's most
yesterday,
attractive.
when we got home last night, we were like cleaning our faces. I did say like, I sat on a table. She was like, because I said in the way in taxi, like, you do realise you left me to sit on a table on my own whilst I ate a burger whilst you were chatting to people. And she was like, did I? I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. And normally in the past, like, I would have been like quite upset about it because I would have felt insecure that like no one had even noticed, not even my own wife, that I'd been feeling awkward and had to sit on my own, kind of thing. But last night I said, to be honest, I didn't really mind. I was like, you know what? I know I'm a bit freaking awkward. It's my own problem.
I don't really like talking when you've got food.
I really want to eat my burger right now, so if I just crack on with that and eat it confidently, then that's fine, because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And like, why? And I just suddenly thought, people really don't care. Like, no one cares that I'm sat here eating a burger. Like, literally, I'm not on anyone's radar. So it's just getting into that, like,
it's a really nice thing about being older, I think, is that you realise that genuinely no one really cares that much about you. And it's quite nice. Like, when you're a teenager, or certainly when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, I thought people were looking at me and judging what I was doing, and that my actions were being scrutinised by a wider audience, and I therefore had to act a certain way. Whereas nowadays, I know that they're all just thinking about themselves. Everyone's thinking exactly the same thing. But, other people are looking at me.
I think
and
some people, it's easier to say that though. Some, certain days I'll be like, everyone's looking at me, because you just can't go over that feeling sometimes. And other days I'm like, oh, I feel fine. Just depends on your personality. Like you very occasionally have that time where you think people are judging you. Yeah. But very occasionally, whereas I have.
Also, to be fair, they genuinely do look at me when I walk in a room because I'm wearing a very fancy dress.
You go into this a lot in your other videos. Like you kind of make yourself quite obvious for lots of reasons, because you don't want people to be like talking about you in a negative way. So you're like, well, you know what? I'm gonna like look fabulous and own it, and then they can only talk about me in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna give you the first thing that you're going to talk about is, wow, that hair, oh my god, your dress, rather than,
that's true.
That girl's a bit shaky.
Oh yeah,
that girl just fall over. Like,
yeah. Oh, that girl's wearing hearing aids, and oh, she's got like, why is she in a wheelchair? Yeah, that's true. When you're dressed in your vintage clothes and you're still in a wheelchair, they notice that you're in a chair, but they actually say to you,
it gives them something to comment on.
And they're like, oh, you look amazing, and they suddenly feel like, whereas if you were
the amount that you get ignored when you're in a chair, like I will drive into people and they're in their mind, they're like, oh my god, don't look, wheelchair, don't look, and I smack into them, like.
Yeah, we noticed that when we were in London on your power chair, that like everyone's eye levels are here and no one looks down here.
But they studiously don't look down.
But then I said to Jessica, but I always look like down, like, and then I realised, well, that's probably because, one, I have a disabled wife who uses a chair, so I know to do that. And two, I'm like also aware of children and buggies because I'm like feeling maternal. Obsessed. And also we have dogs, so like I'm just more aware of things down here. Like smaller,
is there a dog? Where's the dog?
Smaller
is there a
people,
dog in the vicinity?
Less able people who need help. Whereas like, I guess a lot of like businessmen, and not all just men, some women, especially in London, they're just looking at other people their own eye level. Which is weird, isn't it? That this whole mentality of it.
It is. I think there's also that thing where you're like, don't make eye contact. Walk along.
Right. Well, we would probably go because we're going to have brunch with your cousin.
Oh yes.
And then we've got to go to Waitrose. And
for those things we definitely made ourselves.
Yeah, what should we do? Should we like borrow some like home dishes and then like empty all the stuff into the dish?
No, we're never going to be able to cover this up. Okay. It's happened. It's happened.
It's fine. Whatever. Christmas is an expensive time. And a gluttonous time. But anyway, we'll make another video about that.
Another time.
Maybe when I'm like, I'm so full. The other day, we should stop talking.
No, go on.
No, I was just going to go into that story about how I ate a whole pizza as a snack when I got home from work because I was really hungry. It was gluten-free pizza. But I was really upset because it burnt, because Jessica asked me to take some photos whilst it was in. It was only going to be in 7 minutes anyway. It was in for 20 minutes. I was like, it's burnt. It, rather than being that nice floppy, like, it was like you could hit someone with it.
Oh, it's my fault. You got really into taking photos. I was like, take one photo.
Yeah, no, true. I do get quite into it once I start. Anyway, let's go.
Okay. Let's go for a journey. And we'll see you tomorrow. Another exciting video. Woo! Oh, which will be a collab with Jazzy.
Ooh.
I'm very excited. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.